Welcome to The Shield, your all-access pass to everything Spartan football. Each week we bring you inside the huddle, behind the stats, and onto the field with the Rochester Mayo Spartans. From game highlights and player spotlights to in-depth interviews and strategic breakdowns, we celebrate the grit, pride, and tradition that defines Spartan football. This isn't just about touchdowns, it's about heart, hustle, and the legacy we defend every Friday night. Strength, pride, purpose. This is The Shield. Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of The Shield. My name is Rob Cother. I'm the host of The Shield, and joined with me is head coach Donnie Holcomb. Thanks for joining The Shield this week. This is the New Prague episode, getting ready for the New Prague Trojans. We're going to talk a little bit about the St. Thomas game, and then we'll be joined by a few of the players from the team to talk to them as well. So I want to thank you for watching The Shield, and as always, if you want to help us, donate or become a sponsor, you can reach out to us on our Gmail account. We'd love to talk to you about that, or help us by giving at our Forgiving site as well. It all helps to make this program possible, as well as our live stream. If you were able to tune in on Friday night for the first home game live stream, it helps with all that kind of stuff. So we appreciate everybody and all that they do for us.
Hey, Spartan fans. Matt Bodine here to tell you about our sponsor for this week's show. It's James and Horn State Farm Insurance, the guy that I trust for all my insurance needs. It wasn't too long ago that I called James, gave me a quote, and it beat my previous carrier by a mile. I made the switch, and you should too. At James and Horn State Farm, their experienced and knowledgeable team is committed to educating and problem solving for their customers. Insurance is one of those things where you know you have to have it. You hope you never have to use it. I found myself in a situation recently where I was following a construction truck. Rock came out, hit my windshield, and it created one of those nuisance little cracks that eventually spiderwebbed its way all the way across. So I called my good buddy James Anhorn, and it was fixed within a day. He had everything taken care of for me, no hassle. I never saw a bill. I never saw anything. It was so easy, just new glass. James Anhorn State Farm Insurance is based out of Wabasha, Minnesota, licensed to operate in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Give them a call at 651-565-7010 or visit jamesanhorn.com. Y recuerde, en la oficina de James Anhorn, hablan español. Call today.
So we're going to jump right in and kind of talk a little bit about the St. Thomas game. And Coach Holcomb and I, so just so everybody knows, we are filming this the Sunday morning after the game at 10 a.m. So we drove over here together, and we were both talking that not sure that football's something we might want to be jumping into right now, but it comes with being a parent or a coach and, or doing these kinds of things that, you got to kind of rip the Band-Aid off sometimes and jump right into it. So let's talk a little bit about it. We're going to make the brief, we'll make it brief, and then we're going to move past. But first home game, we talked pregame, the atmosphere was awesome. I mean, a lot of good things with that. But ultimately not the start, we were looking for, when it, both in the record and as well as even in that game. So kind of want to ask you a little bit about that. Offense goes 3 and out, defense 2 plays in, gives up a touchdown. What are some things on the sidelines you guys are doing as coaches, and even some of the kids, are doing to just say, how are they regrouping after that kind of a start?
Well, first off, I'll take back to, like you said, the pregame and the environment that was set up at the school was just awesome. We had a lot of people that put a lot of time in to get that thing set up, and packed crowd there for the first game, and our student section with their theme. So big thanks to everybody putting that on. And then again, with you guys putting on our live stream and having a live feed on the sideline, it's pretty cool. And I don't think there's another live stream like it in the state. But all right, back to football. I tried to divert it.
Defer, yeah.
But I tell you what is crazy though is that most of these losses, I go through them 2 days in a row because my kids play for Winona, and I kid you not, almost every one of our losses is the same way for them. Even yesterday it was 17-0 during the game. Now they came back and won it in the end, so it was good to feel a win. But for us on Friday night, man, we blew it. We blew the execution on offense. We had opportunities early in the game. We knew they were going to be super aggressive, so we had opportunities where we wanted to throw some hot routes, and we dropped balls that could have been touchdowns and got us off to a good lead. But it's not just that. It's a total lack of execution on offense, and I put some of that on our offensive coordinator for not getting the job done and putting the kids in a better spot, preparing them all week long. So we're going to make some changes there. But the kids worked extremely hard. They want to win, and it's not that our talent's not there, because you can't score 2 touchdowns in like the last 2:30 of the game and still have a chance to get an onside kick and win if you don't have talent. Defense played lights out. They only gave up one, big play to start off the game that wish we could get back. But, we've got the kids and everybody stayed healthy. So it's one of those things that we just got to have a short-term memory, but we also got to make sure remember how it feels and make corrections.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on a little bit. You had talked previously. We knew they were going to come out, be somewhat aggressive on, defense, and they were. And then it probably seemed for them to probably stick to their game plan on offense. I mean, they wanted to run the ball. I'm sure that's what they wanted to establish, and they seemed to do, pretty good. I mean, that first drive in the third quarter was pretty methodical. I mean, as a football fan, you just kind of sit there and go, man, that's what you want to do. You want to have a 15-play drive and kind of march it down. So, what did you feel that they were doing? You talked a little bit about you guys made some mistakes, but at the same point in time, your opponent also does some things really well. What do you think that they were kind of capitalizing on during the game on Friday?
Well, offensively, I mean, they stuck to what they want to do. They want to run the tight formation and do some zone read. And, I mean, they milked the clock, too. That's part of the game. They took it, the play clock down to 0 every single time, which is smart to do. Defensively, they did a great job. Coach T's did a great job of bringing the blitz like we thought they would. But honestly, we execute and we take that away, and we don't, it doesn't look so smart on their part, but it worked. And, they've got a great tradition. They were one of the top 25 teams ranked in all classes coming into the season, and they're 2-0. So we wish them the best of luck, and maybe we'll see them again.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. One thing that, during the game, I think I was mentioning a couple times during the broadcast and, on the sidelines was it just felt like we were starting behind the chains all the time on first down. It was like we just could not – it seemed like it was 1st and 15 or 1st and plus 10 all the time. What does that do to a drive? What does that do to a play caller, when you're constantly starting behind the chains like that?
Well, we used 3 timeouts in the first quarter too, and I'm not going to put that on the coaches because plays were out with plenty of time. It was lack of getting lined up in formations that we practiced all week long. So maybe it's nerves, maybe it's playing some younger kids that aren't ready yet, but it's ultimately it reflects the team, not just the one person or whatever, and we don't put that focus on it, but. Yeah, I mean, we have the kids. We just haven't found an identity, and it's really, really frustrating because we've been doing this for a long time, and I feel like we work harder than anybody else in the state. But we got to have that same kind of tough mentality to stick through it and believe in ourselves. And in Minnesota, everybody makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
So.
No, and that's kind of my next question is, we're moving into New Prague, which is I once again talked on the broadcast as well, that the next 5 games are our section. So I think everything that this team wanted, maybe besides going undefeated or whatever, but everything this team wanted, to win the section, be the number 1 seed going into playoffs, and all those kinds of things are still in front of this group of kids. So moving into New Prague, with that, knowing that this is the first section game and you're kind of getting into that gauntlet of the schedule, what is that focus going to be? What are the talking points going to be around that?
Well, from my perspective, unfortunately, blew these first 2 games. It'd be great to be 2-0, but I hope that we learned a lot. And we come into this week with New Prague with a ton of confidence, knowing that we can be a lot better than we are, and we're going to face a good opponent in New Prague, and they always play us tough. We've had a good record as far as beating them, but the games have been really, really close and come down to the wire, especially when we play at their place. So we're going to have to be ready to go.
Yeah. So, well, like, both of us have talked numerous times, not where we wanted to start, but I think you talked about it on the pregame show, the preseason Shield show where, you weren't going to shy away from a schedule. You had asked, to have tough non-conference opponents. You got two of them. I mean, Chaska's 2-0. They beat Century. St. Thomas is now 2-0. Chanhassen is 2-0. So the non-conference opponents aren't going to be easy. But now, starting with New Prague, got to take care of business. And I still think everything kind of lines up the way that everybody was hoping. So that's the recap of St. Thomas. Stick with us. We're going to have some of the players join us here in just a minute, and we'll be right back on the Shield.
With 36 seconds, here's the Mayo offense on the move. Pass over the middle. Wernberg.
Attaboy, Gavin. Attaboy, Gavin. Move line. Get up there.
All right, welcome back to the Shield. As we mentioned before, each week we're going to have one of the senior leaders join us, and then they're going to bring a couple of their teammates and introduce them. So this week we got senior Brody Cawthorn joining us. Brody, why don't you introduce who you brought with you this week?
To my right, I have Nate Lee, O-line, D-line, and then to my left, Ian Lee, O-line, D-line.
Interesting. Is there a relation?
There is. They are brothers.
Okay, great. So senior, right, Nate? Yeah, and Ian Jr. Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for joining the Shield, guys. We're going to jump right in. One of the things I talked with Coach Holcomb about is so that everybody knew we're filming this Sunday morning, 10 a.m. after the St. Thomas game. So nobody really wants to rehash it, and kind of go back through it, but we got to rip the Band-Aid off and talk a little bit about it. So it was the first home game. The atmosphere was pretty awesome. I hope you guys felt that, between the crowd and everything that everybody does to set up the stadium, but definitely not the outcome everybody wanted. So talk a little bit about what are some things that you guys feel that you can take away, from that loss in particularly, to start getting ready for next week.
Yeah, I think just everybody agrees right now we're playing like maybe 20% of our full potential. And I mean, the little things are really killing us. If one guy messes up on the play, it could be a 5-yard loss, and that's really just what's killing us right now.
Yeah, like what BC said, it's little stuff that's killing us because if we have big plays, and just little stuff is killing us, like drop balls, false starts, stuff like that. And if we can fix that and be more disciplined with it, then we can definitely pull off better wins.
Yeah, and I feel like we were getting mad at each other after some point, after a lot of drop balls and jumping off sides. So I feel like we really got to fix that and keep our energy together and not use our energy against each other.
No, those are good points. Yeah, it's tough. It does get frustrating because when you have the talent to win, and sometimes things aren't going the way that you want them to go. So it can get frustrating. But so 2 losses, once again, not where anybody wanted to be. So there's you guys have kind of mentioned it a little bit, trying to maybe fix some things. So what are some things this week that you guys are going to do at practice to make sure yourself and your teammates are really locked in and ready to go against New Prague?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially coming into the St. Thomas week, watching film, we knew as being 3 offensive linemen, their defense was going to try and stump us and make us make mistakes. So I think we just got to get clear on that and really trust each other up front. I mean, I think everybody up front right now is disappointed that we're playing terrible, to put it as it is, and we're at some points we're losing the team the game. So we just need to, especially up front, just come together, put in a really good week, and bring it to New Prague.
Yeah, trusting each other is probably going to be the most important part of the game. If we can just focus on the little things and finishing, I think finishing is a big thing as well, then we'll be better.
Yeah, I think we just have to be dialed on offense this week. And we really got to encourage each other so that we can trust each other and know that we're doing the right thing.
So when you guys look at, when you came into the season, you set individual goals, team goals between yourselves, players, leaders, captains, and coaches. New Prague's your first section district game or whatever, so once again, still have an opportunity to win that section, to win your district, be number one seed, those different kinds of things. So a lot of things that you guys wanted to accomplish as a team are still in front of you. I know it's only the Sunday, like we said, after St. Thomas, so don't know how much film maybe you've been able to watch. But if you have, what are some things that about New Prague that kind of jump out to you guys?
Well, if I'm being honest, I haven't watched any New Prague film yet. I just got done last night watching the whole St. Thomas game. But, I mean, yeah, first section game, I think everybody knows we have to go in and win. I mean, we just can't afford to have that as a loss.
Yeah, I haven't watched any film either. I also just finished a St. Thomas game. But I think this is going to be a big win because if we lose this, our spirits are going to be even down. And this is going to be the game that are going to lift us and drive us to the rest of the season.
Yeah, like with Nate, what Nate was saying, I think like it's really important that we win this. We got to be dialed. And I also have not watched the film either.
Well, at least they're honest, Coach Holcomb. At least they're honest. So, but one of the things that Coach Holcomb and I talked about before you guys got here is, it seems like they do have some, offensive and defensive linemen. It's nothing that you guys haven't seen as 3 offensive linemen. Is just some big boys across it. Talk a little bit, about that. Like you guys have said, you're all 3 offensive linemen. Nate, you also play on the D line. But there's a special bond about being a lineman. There's just something that it's created internally. Not everybody wants to be one. Most people don't ever want to be one. But talk about that bond. Talk about the bond that you guys have this year, as far as the whole group, O and D line.
Yeah, it's a special group. O and D line, we're like rotating 7-8 guys, just trying to see what fits right now. And also, we can't really afford when we get deep into games to have like 5 guys each going both way. But coming into this year, I didn't really know who was going to be beside me, and Ian's really stepped up and really helped on the O-line. You can tell that even as a junior, he's a real vocal leader on the line.
Yeah, with the D and the O-line, it's a lot of just trusting each other and making sure that we know what we're doing and trusting the coaches as we're rotating 8 guys in and out. And I think that's probably the most important part.
Yeah, just with like St. Thomas last Friday, like I noticed like everyone was quiet in like the offensive huddle. So I was trying to be loud and like keep each other like motivated so that like we're ready for that next play and like we forget the last play like that we messed up.
Well, it's good. Yeah, you gotta. It takes all different personalities to make things work. And usually especially your offensive linemen aren't necessarily born to be absolutely major vocal, but sometimes it's nice to have a guy or 2 like that in the huddle. So, all right, here come the 10 questions. So, BC, I will ask the question, you can answer, and then just kind of move the mic back and forth between Nate and Ian. So it's our opportunity to get to know the 3 of you a little bit better. So, all right, first question. What made you first fall in love with football, and who inspired you to play?
I think right after this, I'm going to go sit on my couch for probably 8 straight hours and watch football all day. So, just doing that ever since a young age. And then definitely my dad. Just pushing me ever since I was young. Not starting till 6th grade, but still loving it ever since.
Yeah, I didn't grow up playing football. I started freshman year, but I always watched it and I always played it with my friends and stuff. And then Max Durgan, I started lifting weights and he told me to join football, and thankful for him for letting me join it. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Oh yeah, and I didn't start football until 8th grade, and like what's made me really fall in love with it is just being with like a community and just having like the brothers that like always like push me and help me to be better. And I think Nate was the one that like inspired me to play football.
Awesome. Love hearing that. All right. If you could trade positions for one game, which spot on the field would you try?
This is just so obvious, but definitely wide receiver. Probably top 3 hands on the team. Still have yet to get my choice on hands team, but I'm sure the time will come eventually.
I was just a little bit faster. I'd be playing tight end. That's what I would want to play.
That's a hard one. I'd probably either want to play like corner or QB.
All right. I thought we were going to go nobody with wanting to be a quarterback. It seems like it's a dying breed. Like nobody wants to play quarterback anymore. Used to be what everybody wanted to play. All right, I kind of asked it. I asked it last week of the group. But what's your favorite pregame either ritual, routine, or pump up song?
Well, for song wise, probably anything by Drake. But routine is like right after the national anthem. Me and John, number 52, we stand next to each other. National anthem. We just kind of give each other a hug, say we love each other, and that we got to get ready to go to battle.
I always get there extra early to tape, and then I always put my headphones in, and go-to song is Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth. And then I'm always jumping around, and I'm always like moving my head because that's what I got to do.
Yeah, I also was there like super early, like in the locker room, and I just like I put my headphones in, and I was just like I was really pumped up to be there, and I really just wanted to hit somebody, and I feel like that was my pregame routine.
All right. Do you guys yourself, or does any teammate have a really good impression of any of the coaches? And if so, who is the impression of, and who is the teammate that can do that impression?
I guess I don't necessarily know, but I think everybody can get a real good impression of Gunner. I mean, just the way he talks, and it's always just like you just know it's Gunner.
And Coach Beal. Brody can get a really good impression of Coach Beal.
I mean, I've never really heard any impressions or thought about that, so I just have to go with what BC said.
All right. If your team had to describe you in one word, what do you think they'd say?
So I'd probably go many ways in this, but I don't know. I think if it was up to my teammates, they'd probably do something with maybe rage bait. I feel like I'm really good at that, and teammates can get a little angry when I rage bait them.
Probably Skibbity. They all call me Skibbity a lot. That's about it. Same with Ian. So,
one word. What's the word for me having to step up to be a leader? I don't want to say.
Good. That's awesome. All right. Do you guys have a favorite football movie or show?
There's definitely a lot, but I mean, I just finished Blue Mountain State, and that was pretty good.
Probably Waterboy. It's just classic Adam Sandler.
That's awesome.
I'd have to say Remembering the Titans.
Another awesome one. All right, so what's the best memory you've had with this team so far?
I don't know. I guess maybe just over the off season, just creating that bond as a family instead of teammates. But I mean, nothing in particular.
Similar to what BC said, just friends. Last year, the seniors all stepped up, and we all became more of a friend group than even just teammates. And this year, this is the same thing. And also, sophomore year, when I got moved up, I watched all of them play, and it was just inspiring to see that. Yeah.
I really liked going to John's house for breakfast, and I really appreciated having all that free food, and he got the whole team together. So that was a pretty good memory there.
Nice. All right, if you weren't playing football, what other sport or activity would you be doing right now?
Golf.
I'd probably stick with basketball. I played basketball, but I was getting I don't know, football was more important to me, and I wanted to lift weights in the winter instead of playing basketball.
I'd probably be weightlifting and going on runs. So no actual sport.
Okay. Nobody was going to go with theater or anything. Come on.
That's my next option.
Was that your next one? It seems to fit you, yeah. Nate. Theater just jumps out. Yes. Yeah. All right. Last question. 10 years from now, when you guys look back at high school football, what do you hope you're going to remember the most?
Just definitely. I mean, throughout the 3 years, just the bond of having a family together, and I mean, yeah, just creating a family hoping to stick with these brothers for 10 years, like that we still are reaching out and communicating in 10 years.
Yeah, I want to keep in contact with everybody, and if we're all in town, we can just get together and stuff. And I don't want it to just be graduate high school and never see each other again. And that's super important to me because the last 3 years of varsity football has meant a lot.
Yeah, with like what those two are saying, like I really want to remember like the bonds that we had, but I also like want to remember from where I started at. Because when I started in like 8th grade, like I never thought I was gonna like start on varsity. So I just feel like I've gone a long way, and I just want to remember that.
Well, guys, thanks for being on the Shield this week. Good luck against New Prague. I want to thank Ian Lee, Brody Cawthorn, and Nate Lee for joining this week, guys. Best of luck on Friday, and let's go get that first win and start moving in the right direction in the section. Good luck this week, guys.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on the Shield with Coach Holcomb again to talk about the New Prague Trojans.
Letting them know about it.
Here's Peterson, looks left and now right pass over the middle. Durgan.
There we go.
Has
Touchdown. There you go.
receiving the
Nice.
contact, second touchdown.
All right, welcome back to the Shield. We want to thank senior leader Brody Cawthorn for joining us, as well as senior Nate Lee and junior Ian Lee for joining us on the Shield. Now we're going to jump in to talk about this coming up week's opponent in New Prague. So as we mentioned earlier in the show, this is the first section game, still opportunity, out there to get that number 1 seed in the section after these next 5 games. And all the goals that I'm setting. I'm assuming most of you guys and the boys, want are still there. So with that, with knowing this is kind of the meat of the schedule. I'm assuming not too much changes from a practice standpoint, but I mean, what are some things that you guys are going to be reiterating this week to the boys in practice?
Yeah, I mean, you want to win them all, but more importantly, you want to see where you're at with each and every one of them, that you're getting better. And this is going to be an exciting one because it's an opponent we're looking forward to get back to playing. But our message doesn't change with the kids. It's the same thing. Like we got to execute. We got to stop putting ourselves in the 1st and 15, 2nd and 20, 25, whatever it is on offense, and focus on the little things. And I think with these 2 losses, the kids and coaches understand that. Like, it's not just hearing somebody say it over and over again. It's like, if we don't change it, the result's not going to change.
Yep. So after 2 games with, of being able to see film, not a ton, you like I said, you've gone against New Prague, before, so you're kind of familiar with them. But after watching a couple games of film and seeing what they are and who they are, what stands out to you about the Trojans?
Well, I think they've got a decent size offense and defensive line. They got a couple big guys there. They've got some skilled kids that I think we need to look out for, especially on offense. I think their offense is the tougher of the 2 sides of the ball this week, with some misdirection, and their quarterback can throw the ball. Defensively, they look like they're going to be a 4-3 cover 2 or quarters team, and they're going to bring the blitzes. So I think we're going to get a good look from the offensive line's viewpoint of how to block things and not so much confusion with the blitz.
Awesome. So both teams coming into this game are 0-2, so that that does lend itself to a little bit of desperate situations for both teams. They're going to be the home team, like you said. They're going to have that home crowd behind them. But when you're talking about that desperation and things, I'm assuming you guys, everything's open. Every play, whatever trick plays are out there, everything's on kind of in factor to win this game this week. So how does that, when you're talking about preparation, how are you going about, just trying, you have such limited time, but you got to think and prepare for everything. So how does that work?
First of all, like, from my standpoint, I'm not desperate to win because of like a final record, because if we're not good enough to win, who cares? And everybody makes the playoffs, and you got to beat anybody to be the best. So what I want to do is I want to see that we deserve to win. I want to see us have a good, crisp practice. I want to see attitudes changing and execution changing so we can win and feel good about it and then build off it for the next week. It is important as far as final standings. There's only 1 team in the district with a win right now. So maybe we're all pretty equal. I hope not. And we got to prove that.
Yeah. Like I said, I with New Prague, they, their 2 losses, they've played, some tough teams. I don't, haven't had a chance too much to watch them on film, but, they seem, once again, like you said, to be disciplined on both sides of the ball. Not a ton of mistakes. So once again, I think it's going to be, for the Spartans, capitalizing on their opportunities, like what you mentioned kind of in St. Thomas, and even with Chaska, we've struggled to do. So when you have those opportunities arise, and when you're talking about it in practice, are those some of the things that you guys talk about in practice going, hey, I think this play is going to give us an opportunity to, be a big chunk play?
Absolutely. We do. But, the first thing we tell them is if we can't line up right, if we can't stay on side, it doesn't matter because now that play's garbage. We're in a long down situation to start. So we have to pay attention when we jump off sides, in practice, and it's practice, we try to say, look, now it's 1st and 15. We're starting the game off. We started the game off jumping on offense when we're the ones that decide what the count is and what the play is. So we're trying to put them in a real situation in practice and have them play fast and simulate the game, but really they got to remember what it's like in the game and how important it is to control their choices.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, like we've said numerous times, it's kind of does have a little bit of a fresh start feeling, so that's nice. So I think once again coming in and having that first opportunity to have a district, I keep saying section, but section district, have a district game and play that opponent that could possibly see once again in the round of the playoffs is kind of is an opportunity to just start fresh and get going again. So best of luck on Friday. I know, once again, this is another away game where the 9th graders will be playing before you guys. When is the JV game against New Prague?
Oh, geez. I'd have to look at my phone real quick. I can't keep up with it, but I think it's on Thursday, I believe. Thursday at Mayo. Nope, it's not a Thursday. They must play the next week.
The following Monday, maybe?
Must be the following Monday. Yep, following Monday, 4:45 at Mayo.
4:45 at Mayo. Okay,
it's different every week with JV.
J&V 9th grade. So, but good luck to those teams as well. I know we were talking over here. JV's 2-0. Freshmen are 1-1. So, hope those teams can keep winning as well. So good luck to both of those teams. 7th and 8th grade sounds like 7th grade had a great win against Owatonna,
and kind of a pick 6 for a walk-off win there, and the second game tied for the 2 games they played, and the 8th grade was able to come out, I think, 42-17 or something.
They had a win against Owatonna. So good starts for those programs as well. So good luck to all those levels, and Coach, good luck on Friday. And
thank you.
Once again, if you want to help the Shield or help our live stream, please reach out to us on email to be a sponsor, or go to the Forgiving page and donate there. Once again, on behalf of myself, Rob Cawthorn, head coach Donnie Holcomb, and our main man Bodie behind the camera, we want to thank everybody for watching this episode of the Shield, and we will see you in New Prague. Hands out.
Hands out.